Okay, very sorry about the darkness. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm just gonna get through these videos because I want to get, through March so we can do the comparison with the other part that I wanted to do. So, here we go. We're on March 2015. Please remember, united we stand, divided we fall. These are not any videos to, like, they're not about really race. They're just about police brutality, even when times when it's not even police brutality and it's actually justified. They're just stories about, the people, every person that I found, and trying to actually maybe get statistics from it. Who knows? I don't know. Just to get some information. Okay, so here we go. The first one is going to be Gregory Thomas Joseph Smith. Black, 39, from Indiana. He was held in Lake County Jail, which does have many complaints about the way they treat the prisoners. Basically everything. I guess, it's just a really bad place. So, anyway, what happened was he was in jail on, like, a domestic thing, and I guess he was really acting up, throwing a fit, who knows, but they decided to dry stun him. So that would mean that he was very close. Now, the difference between dry stun is that a stun gun, you have to be close because it's just the two prongs, and you have to be able to make actual contact with their skin for it to work. A taser will shoot out the two prongs at least up to 15 feet. So that's the difference between a stun gun and a taser, just so you know. Anyway, his heart stopped. As I said, there's been many complaints about that particular jail. And, you have to think that he's in custody. So he's really not going to go anywhere. So I guess they might want to look into these, the use of these stun guns, because sometimes it seems that they do cause a cardiac arrest. I don't know. I mean, is that something that they shouldn't be using? Is there a way to make them? I really don't know. I mean, bottom line is this. When he's already in jail, and there's probably way more officers there than him. So, he's definitely outnumbered. I don't understand why, they couldn't overpower him without, really, it's not like they're fighting off, the Incredible Hulk. Really? Okay, so his heart stopped. His, family did do a wrongful death. I don't know if they won. Really, maybe they should have, unless he had a prior heart problem. If that is the case, then I guess, maybe he shouldn't have been fighting back. Who knows? Okay, so the next one is Jeremy L. Kelly. He is, or was, 27 years old, South Carolina, black man. He did have multiple firearms. The officers, I don't know exactly what brought on what he was going through. It could possibly be that his brother, Julius Juju Gamble, has been missing for quite a while, since, at that point he'd been missing for a year. He still is missing. So the family, has its shares of tragedy. But this particular day, he had multiple firearms. The officers continued to, he ran into the woods. Jesus Christ. The officers did try negotiating with him for, I guess, hours from what, witness accounts say. And the SWAT team came. He did take shots. And then they shot him. So I guess he should have given up. Okay, so the next one is Nicholas Thomas, 23-year-old black man in Georgia. He had done a felony violation on his probation, and he was on probation because in 2013 he led police on a high-speed chase, and then when he did stop his vehicle, he tried to run over one of the officers. Then he was, making a really big scene of it. I know my rights, all this kind of stuff, which, did end up on social media. And he's pretty lucky he just got probation for that. But apparently he did go to violate that. And so when the officer showed up to serve him with the warrant at his job, he jumped in a customer's car, a Maserati, and the officers did shoot the beanbags, but that was to no avail, and he tried to back up over an officer and was shot. Basically, he should have been happy he was on probation for what he did in the first place. Next person. Joseph Tassinari. That is Tassinari. Okay? He's a 63-year-old man from Arizona, white. He's a Vietnam vet, Black Watch leader, and for some reason, with no criminal activity, not even a prior criminal history, except 20 years ago, I guess 20 years ago, he had something on him that, I don't know, it doesn't even, really, he didn't have a criminal history. It was a minor thing. Like I said, he was a Vietnam vet. Apparently, something about him being off his meds. All of a sudden, he snaps, and he did kill a cop. Threatened to decapitate his wife. She was the one who called 911. I find it really difficult to believe that because, you know what? That's wrong. I am very sorry. I need to retract what I just said. I had read the line underneath. My notes are very scrunched together. I'm very sorry. He did not kill a cop. What happened to him was he was very well liked in his neighborhood, friends with the mayor, a Black Watch leader, a Vietnam veteran, did have a license to carry. There was a story that he was at an ATM and that for some reason the car in front of him, I don't know why, he started to beep and honk and yell at them, and they pulled up and then got out of their car and went over to him. And we don't know. Maybe they were trying to rob him. I'd really like to know if the footage from the video of the ATM was ever checked, because I find it very odd that this man who was very active in the community as a Black Watch leader and other things, that he would all of a sudden just snap like that. There's probably more to it, but apparently the car that had gotten out called the police and took his license plate number and said he threatened them with a gun. And then when the officer went to his house, the guy had just pulled into his garage. His son was home. He said he did not obey his commands. I am wondering what kind of commands they were. Because as it appears, the person did tell him, Joseph did say that he was carrying a handgun, and that the officer proceeded to tase him, at which point the son heard that going on, opened the door of the garage. The officer pointed his gun at him and told him to go back inside. He shut the door, and he heard gunshots. This officer claims that he went to reach in his waistband and get his gun. I mean, really, what commands was he giving him? Was he asking him to get his gun? Once again, like the Deanne Chody case, where they kept demanding, give me your gun, and then wait till it's in their hand and then shoot them? I don't know. But I do find it very odd that this man with no criminal history all of a sudden snapped like that. The next one is a Scott Dunham, 57 years old, California. This is the one who was off his meds, and he was white. He did shoot and kill a cop and threatened to decapitate his wife. Very sorry about the mix-up. My notes had gotten convoluted. But he also really didn't have a criminal history. 20 years ago, I guess, he had been jailed for 3 days in 96. It says, originally it said for burping in his girlfriend's face and refusing to clean up a spill on the couch. But then there was more to the story about some actual real physical abuse. Not certain why they would focus on the burping in the face. That doesn't even sound right. The fact that he snapped after that amount of time, I would think somebody that was that abusive to women would have more of a history of that and probably other occurrences in the meantime. To just snap and kill a cop, he did kill a police officer that had showed up at his house and threatened to decapitate his wife. She called the police, and they shot him. Stephen T. Snyder, spelled S-N-Y-D-E-R, 36 years old, white man from Wisconsin. The whole story, it sounds like something from an action movie. There apparently had been 9 bank robberies. Now, it seems, he was from Michigan. Now, his ex-girlfriend had called the police and said he was in Wisconsin and had accused him of being the bank robber. So they were already looking for him there. So he, there was a bank robbery, and then somebody was murdered in the parking lot to take the car. Now, so that doesn't make sense. So was he in the stolen car, or was he in the vehicle that the license plate matched what the ex-girlfriend had called and said? Apparently, the officer, the state trooper that was behind him, it was at 5 p.m., and it was a 21-year-old state trooper, his first night solo, which I do find tragic that, this young kid had been doing his dream job to him, and this is what occurred. The man, Stephen, pulled a U-turn right in the middle of the road, and through the windows, I guess not even either one of them got out of the car, a gunfight ensued, and the state trooper fired 12 shots and killed the suspect with 1, and the suspect fired 9 and killed the state trooper with 3. Obviously, there was something up. I mean, he must have been up to some kind of no good, because he did turn around and do that. But it's odd because the person that he had a land contract with in Michigan said he always paid on time. He was never a bad tenant, but yet that particular month he had called and said he was having some financial difficulty. That sounds odd. I mean, he just robbed 9 banks. He also really didn't have a criminal record. 20 years ago, there was another scorned woman who had called and made a report on him, and he got arrested for that, or some kind of criminal contact. I'm not sure. Not much of anything, really, but after that, he had no other, so I find it odd that he did go through that.